I'm thinking about time because we're at a kind of sponsors event to do with watches, and it's 6 races to go now. Is time really going to start to fly in this championship, and does that make this race extra important in terms of getting that momentum?
It does, definitely. I mean, obviously the last race was a good one for me, but also the team. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be here. I just got here this morning, excited for the weekend. You know, it's crunch time. You know, we've got 6 races to go. I'm really hoping that, I'm really just praying for no issues with the car, and hopefully I can do the job from there on.
Looking at things, we have had a bit of news this week, a new directive on what communication there can be between the pit wall and the car. Might that be a factor in these last 6 races in terms of who it helps, who it maybe hurts a little bit more than the other guy? I mean, is it a good thing from your point of view?
I quite like the idea. In some ways it makes it harder, you know, for example, engine strategy, all those different things. I mean, how are we to know what strategy to use? I think it's going to be really important that we are on the same strategy always, because there's been a couple of times where perhaps Nico's been on a different strategy to me, and what that gives is either more or less power, and those things disadvantage you. So as long as you don't have any problems there, the rest of it will manage.
Because the public perception is you naturally can find the limit of tracks, and maybe we hear a lot of him listening to, you know, what's my teammate doing, can I have some driving advice? So maybe it might be a little plus for you.
I hope so, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, you know, I remember from way back when we were in karts, you know, the cool thing in karting, you don't have any data, or we didn't back then. So no one could ever see where I was quick, and maybe that's a little bit more in a step in that direction, because now you have so much data, you can see everything I do, any trick that I have, and for every driver, you know, you can, every driver and every team will see that from his teammate. But hopefully this is one step in that direction, yeah. I mean, when you're out there, you're always looking after tires, and you're trying to find the perfect balance, and sometimes you don't always have the perfect balance in terms of how quick you're going through each corner. You'll be losing a bit of time here and there, and you're not completely aware of it. All you know is the gap's diminishing. And so that's why you sometimes ask for help from your engineers. But I quite like now that we're left to do it ourselves. That's how it was back in the karting days. So it's back to old school ways.
Fair enough. And it's interesting seeing the two of you here at an event together. Maybe that will surprise a few people back home, that you can hang out to an extent, and at least, you know, well, does it show you have a functioning, working relationship? Is that the bottom line?
Ultimately, you know, we put the team first. So we arrive and do our job the same. I have no issues, and I mean, I'm just happy to be. I'm proud to be a part of this. You know, it's so cool to be associated with a company like IWC and Mercedes-Benz. You know, it's and to have our own watches, as I was saying just now. I never in a million years ever thought I'd have my name on a watch. You know, so it's a very unique experience, and I'm excited about the partnership with IWC. Hopefully for the future, I really want to get really into detail for the next watch, and I want to take it somewhere different.
One last thing, I mean, you talked about maybe finding that a little pressure you put on Nico had an effect in the last race. How important is it that you know the weaknesses potentially of the guy you're racing against when it gets to this stage in a championship, and it is pretty much between the two of you?
I don't know, I think it's probably the same in every sport, you know, whether it be tennis, you know that the weakness could be done the outside line, and so you always hit it there. I'm sure it's the same in every sport, but it's not something I consciously think about. All I want to do is arrive, do my job, and I want to do it the best that I could possibly do. And every sportsman probably has in their self and inside belief that that if they do everything 100%, then it'll be better than everyone else's, and that's really kind of my philosophy.
Let's have a look at the watch, because are you on European time still? That's the question I want to know.
Well, I only just picked it up today, so I don't even know what time this is. 6 got noticed in this time.
It's on this time.
Yeah, so I got my phone set to European time, so I landed at 9 a.m. this morning here, but it was, I think, like 1 or 2 a.m. in the UK. So I went straight to sleep, and I woke up around 3 o'clock, and the same thing tonight. I've got to stay up till 6 a.m. in the morning, and then wake up tomorrow around kind of 1, 2 o'clock.
Great stuff. Lovely having the time, and our time with you unfortunately has run out, but good luck this weekend. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton really upbeat about being here. You can tell that. Massive backing as well, as you can see from the locals here in Singapore.